The Galactic Academy of Valoris Prime was the most prestigious institution in 7 star systems. 47 species sent their best and brightest to walk its crystalline halls, to sit beneath its amber suns, to prove themselves worthy of the title, Elite Cadet. Luna Mercer was none of those things. At least, that was what they told her. She was the only human in Class Theta 9. 5 feet 4 inches of stubborn brown eyes and quiet determination, she sat in the back row of tactical combat theory every morning while the others pretended not to notice her. When they did notice her, it was worse. "The human is writing notes again," whispered Drenva, a Solokian whose 4 arms moved with effortless grace. His scales shimmered with amusement. As if her short-term memory could hold anything longer than a meal cycle. Soft laughter rippled across the room. Instructor Yolis didn't silence it. Luna kept writing. She had learned, in the 8 months since arriving at Valoris Prime, that silence was not the same as weakness. She had also learned that her classmates were faster, stronger, more genetically refined, and possessed of cognitive architectures that put baseline human memory to shame. She knew all of this. She wrote it down anyway. Every combat drill, every strategy lecture, every weapons calibration session, she documented everything in handwritten journals because the act of writing embedded information into her memory in ways that pure passive absorption never could. It was a human technique, old as civilization, and it embarrassed her classmates deeply that she relied on it. "Primitive," Drenva had said once, pointing at her journal. "You write like a pre-contact species." "Pre-contact species built the ships that got me here," Luna had replied, and gone back to writing. She did not make friends easily. The Solokians moved in packs of their own kind. The Vrithians communicated partly in electromagnetic pulses that humans couldn't produce. Even the more human-adjacent Marith cadets kept a careful distance, associating with the lowest-ranked cadet in the class carried social costs nobody wanted to pay. Her ranking was, officially, last. 29th out of 29. She was aware of this. She wrote that down too. The day everything changed began like any other, with humiliation. Class Theta 9 had been selected for a special joint exercise with the Vanguard Corps, the Academy's most decorated graduate program, populated by warriors who had seen real combat across the outer sectors. The exercise was simple in theory. A simulated hostage rescue on the Academy's southern training plateau. Students against veterans. The cadets were expected to lose. The lesson was in how you lost. Luna was assigned to fire support. A position, Drenva noted loudly, suited to someone who needs to stay far away from the actual fighting. She took her position on the ridge without comment and opened her journal to a hand-drawn tactical map she had prepared the night before. She had studied the plateau's terrain for 3 hours using the Academy's open geographic database. She had noted the wind patterns, the acoustic properties of the rock formations, the sight lines from every elevation. She had done the math on suppression angles by hand, cross-referencing with ballistics tables she had memorized from a textbook she borrowed twice a week because she couldn't afford her own copy. The exercise began. Within 6 minutes, Drenva's unit was neutralized. Within 9, the Vrithian flanking squad had walked directly into a kill zone that Luna's map clearly marked as dangerous, but nobody had asked her. The cadets were collapsing fast, their confident aggression meeting the cold precision of veterans who had been doing this for decades. Luna watched from the ridge and made decisions. She didn't have the reflexes of a Solokian. She didn't have the electromagnetic awareness of a Vrithian. What she had was her map, her notes, and 8 months of watching her classmates move, their habits, their tendencies, their blind spots written down in careful detail because she had known, instinctively, that the day would come when she would need to understand them better than they understood themselves. She began calling targets. Not for her own weapons. For everyone's. Her calm channel had been open the whole time, largely ignored. Now she started talking, calm, precise, unhurried, and something in the quality of her voice made cadets pause mid-retreat to listen. Drenva's team, fall back to grid 7. There's a rock formation that gives you cover on 3 sides. The veterans haven't moved to flank it yet, but they will in approximately 90 seconds. Move now. Drenva hesitated. Then moved. Vreethian unit, your electromagnetic sensing is being blocked by the iron deposits in the eastern face. Stop relying on it. Go visual. The veteran in Sector 4 has a shadow pattern that telegraphs his position. He favors his left side. The Vreethian unit paused. Adapted. Everyone remaining. In 40 seconds the lead vanguard squad will converge on the central objective. They'll expect resistance from the north because that's where you've been. Nobody is north anymore. Someone needs to be north in 30 seconds. Silence on the comm then. I'll go north. A voice she didn't recognize. Then 3 more. Then 6. The exercise lasted another 11 minutes. When the dust cleared, literally, the plateau was coated in simulation smoke. Class Theta 9 had not won. They had lost, as expected. But they had lasted 4 times longer than any previous cadet class against Vanguard veterans, and they had successfully extracted the simulated hostage. Instructor Yolis was staring at the after-action readout with an expression Luna had never seen on his face before. She climbed down from the ridge. Nobody said anything to her. She wasn't sure if that was better or worse than mockery. Then someone stepped into her path. He was tall, nearly 7 feet, with the gray-blue skin and layered bone structure of a species she didn't immediately recognize. His uniform bore insignia she had never seen in person, only in history texts, the Silver Comet of the Vanguard First Cohort. The oldest and most decorated unit in Galactic Alliance history. His name, she would learn, was Varek. Cadet, he said. Sir, she replied. He looked at her for a long moment. His eyes were the deep amber of someone who had seen too much and chosen to keep looking anyway. The tactical redirections on calm. That was you. Yes, sir. You prepared for this exercise. I prepare for everything, sir. Your classmates don't. She didn't answer that. It wasn't a question. Varek reached out and, with a careful deliberateness that seemed almost ceremonial, he turned her journal over in his hands. She had been holding it, as always. He looked at the cover, worn soft with handling, the spine cracked from months of use. He didn't open it. He handed it back. I have fought beside Solokians who could process a battlefield in nanoseconds, he said. I have fought beside Vreethians who could sense an enemy's heartbeat through solid rock. I have fought beside species whose names your people haven't learned yet. He paused. Do you know what wins wars, Cadet Mercer? She waited. Not speed. Not strength. Not sense perception. He looked at the journal again. Wars are won by whoever understands the battlefield better than the enemy does. Whoever has thought longer, prepared harder, and refused to assume they already know what they need to know. He met her eyes. Your species has been doing exactly that since before it had fire. You carry 10,000 years of survival written in your bones. You just also write it in notebooks. Luna felt something shift in her chest, not pride exactly. Something quieter and more permanent. My classmates think it's primitive, she said. The notebooks. Your classmates, Varek said evenly, lasted 9 minutes without you. They lasted 20 with you. In real combat, that 11 minutes is the difference between a funeral and a victory. He straightened. I will be recommending to the Academy that you be formally recognized for tactical leadership under live exercise conditions. I will also be recommending that Class Theta 9's ranking system be reviewed, as it appears to be measuring the wrong things. He walked away. Luna stood on the plateau and breathed in the simulation smoke and thought about 10,000 years of survival written in bones and notebooks. Drenva found her later, near the equipment return station. He stood there for a moment, his 4 arms arranged in what she had learned was his people's posture of discomfort. The Grid 7 formation, he said finally. How did you know they would flank it? I wrote down the Vanguard's combat doctrine patterns 3 weeks ago, she said. I noticed they follow a pressure rotation sequence in simulations. It repeats every 90 to 100 seconds. He was quiet for a moment. You noticed that 3 weeks ago. I notice things, she said. I write them down so I don't forget. Then I don't forget. Drenva looked at the journal in her hands. Something moved behind his eyes that might, in a Solokian, have been the beginning of respect. Could I, he said slowly, read your notes sometime? Luna considered him. Then she held out the journal. Start from the beginning, she said. There's a lot of it. He took it carefully, like it was something valuable. It was. In the records of the Vanguard First Cohort, the exercise on Valoris Prime's southern plateau is listed as a minor training footnote. In the personal logs of Varek, decorated veteran of 37 engagements across 6 star systems, it is listed differently, the day I remembered why humans are dangerous. Not because of what they are. Because of what they refuse to stop becoming.